I'm talking today to UK financial healer Erik Cornish. Hi, Erik. Thank you so much for letting me interview you for Askimo TV's International Library of Interviews with Experts.
Hi, Joanne. Thank you very much for talking with me today.
Wonderful to be talking to you too, Erik. Erik, today we're having a discussion on creating your financial future. So talk us through the key practical step-by-steps that people need to take in order to secure a financial future.
Okay, it always starts with what's actually happening in the moment. What is the financial reality of where you are now? And to do that, we need to have a basic budget and planning process in place for every month, go through the finances, see what's coming in, hopefully build up savings and reserves, and know that you're on a safe financial footing where you are now. Now, for most people I see, they're actually in some degree of financial trouble. So once we've done that basic financial planning bit, we get back into getting to the roots of what was going on that caused the problem in the first place. Now, there's been a lot of research done in the States about how the brain works, and this is quite fascinating, that 90% of the mental activity actually happens in the subconscious. So all the behaviour programs that drive sort of strange behaviour patterns that end up with people spending vast amounts of money on things they can't afford are rooted down in the subconscious. So before we even think about going off and creating a wonderful future, we need to have a really good clean out of what's happening in the financial basement. Because if those issues aren't addressed and healed, they will come out and they will rain on your parade again and again and again. So we use this EFT process, the emotional freedom technique, which is a process of tapping on the energy meridians which store financial and emotional stresses. So first thing we do is take down the stress levels, get them down to something manageable, tapping gently away on the stress systems, and then go back into using matrix re-imprinting. Find the younger versions of the person, back in childhood, back through the teenage years. When there were problems around money, parents were shouting about money, there were problems with the home generally around money, because people tend to reproduce in their lives what they've learned as children. And these cycles will keep repeating and repeating and repeating if they're not actually taken out and healed at the root. So before we do any future work, we have to figure out, well, what was actually causing the problem that's just begun. And time again, I get issues with, one lady last week I was talking to, when she was about 4 years old, she was playing behind a big chair they had in their sitting room there with her dolls, which made a little doll's house. Her parents didn't know she was there. And they came into the room and they said something along the lines of, we could have had a holiday this year if we hadn't had that blasted kid. Well, that's pretty painful for a little person. And the poor little love, that was still locked in there at a cellular level. I'm a drain, I'm a nuisance. And she spent her life living out, I'm a nuisance, I don't deserve anything. And she'd been financially disaster area and got into relationships where she was treated like a doormat. So we did a major cleaning out work of that what was going on at the time. And as a part of this process, once we got a resolution, we understand what was going on and what needed to happen to resolve that, and to let her express what she'd been carrying for the last 40 years around that particular moment and get it out of her system. Then we ask her to imagine what would be the most successful version of you in this lifetime. And we say, imagine your highest possible future self in this lifetime coming to talk to you now to say, look, now that you've done that and you've cleared this trauma out of your basement, you can now go on and become, and things start to come out that are, people have said, oh, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that, there's no money in this, whatever. And say, yeah, you can do it. If you really want it enough, now's the time to be doing it. And then we go into the situation where we can start creating the business plan and the business model to actually get her to where she wants to be.
What are some things that hold people back from creating that financial future?
Invariably, it's down to self-worth. I have so many cases, and sadly, a lot of this I've come across involves sexual abuse at a young age, where your self-worth and this feeling of helplessness is a terrible thing, and it's like a cancer. And we get back into the roots of what's been going on, and we do deal with these issues, and we do get them out of the system, and we try and get people to a state of forgiveness. One of the people I worked with last year who had the biggest results of all the people I met with last year, had been through a sexual abuse situation, and after about an hour of working away with this and dealing with the issues, she actually got to a point of forgiveness and said, okay, whatever happened, happened. I'm free now to walk away from that. And within a week, she had a new job, a new house, and a new car all appeared for her. It's absolutely amazing. But you really need to be able to get into these issues. And one of the problems, I think, at the moment is a lot of people are offering go on an abundance weekend and you can create anything you want. Well, yes and no, you probably can, but you need to deal with the inner issues first to get rid of the traumas and the self-destructive cycles that are still running in the subconscious. And if you don't, you ain't going to make any abundance, that's for sure.
Erik, what age should a person start planning for their financial future? And is there any age that's too late?
I don't think there's any age that's too late. I was working recently with a lady in her 70s, and she'd been born during the 1940s in the war over here. There was obviously a lot of fear, lack and doubt and whatever. And she'd been through a traumatic life. There had been sexual abuse there. There'd been all sorts of horrible things happen to her. But we got to the roots of all of them. Now, she's now in her early 70s. Her only ambition now is to be able to have enough money every year to give nice presents to her grandchildren for Christmas and on their birthdays. And we dealt with all the financial issues, got all the traumas out, put her in a strong place financially, and she can do that now. So she's happy. She's got financial heaven as far as she's concerned. The other end of the scale, I would love to be able to talk to people in schools about this, to be able to say, look, you can start your planning now, just the basics. Every month, look at what you're doing with your finances, see where you're going. People come out of school and university now, they're already in debt. The credit card companies have started lending to them. They're paying 25-30% interest rates on debts, and they've gone out and bought stuff which is long since broken and gone, but the debt's still there. So yes, I think financial education in schools is very much one of my things I want to be doing with the education system in the UK over the next few years.
Thank you, Erik. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thank you, Joanne.